Now to the escalating debt crisis in Puerto Rico. The U.S. territory has for some years been in a prolonged financial descent, and earlier this week its government missed a significant loan payment. Jeffrey Brown filed our report from the island's capital city.
The sights and sounds of old San Juan, dating back to the 16th century. This morning, locals and tourists enjoyed the charm of this Caribbean island. But last night, about an hour away, we heard of another Puerto Rico. Coral Jimenez lives with her 11-year-old son, Felix, who suffers severe disabilities. Several months ago, the fiscal crisis that now plagues this island territory trickled all the way down to her son.
The people that provides therapy for my son, they were not getting paid, so he stopped getting the services for more than a month. He couldn't get his physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, psychological therapy. He stopped getting them.
Coral says caring for her son has taken a village of friends and family, but now that village itself needs help.
For a child like Felix, I require therapies. I require his father to help me economically, and my mom has to help me. But the economy's been affecting his father's business. He's doing the best he can, but he's warning me that things are not going the way they used to be. Some friends of mine that used to help me a lot, they had to move to the States, so I don't count on those friends anymore.
Around San Juan, we heard other stories from victims of a slow-moving economic crisis that's battered government coffers and sapped personal savings. The unemployment rate here is double that of the mainland U.S.
My kids are grown up now. One is in university, and I also have grandchildren. They're suffering too because I can't help them the way I normally would have.
One response, Puerto Ricans are leaving the island in record numbers, some 230 every day. According to a recent study, Puerto Rico lost almost 2% of its population in 2014, and the flight continues. Enrique Cuervas runs a bodega in San Juan.
My sister-in-law moved to the U.S. She was struggling as a nurse in Puerto Rico. Now she lives in Florida and she's doubled her salary. They pay her $29 an hour. She was making $9 here.
Health professionals are leaving the island. You see an empty ward right now. I had to, between frozen positions and layoff, I had about 1/5, about 100 positions that I have either frozen or layoff employees.
One hard-hit sector, healthcare. Domingo Cruz, head of San Jorge Children's Hospital in San Juan, has had to make some difficult choices as more people slide into poverty and can't pay their bills, and the government rolls back its support.
No business can stay open if you cut 40% of your business. If Congress doesn't assign the resources to the Medicaid program, the whole healthcare system on the island will collapse.
Collapse.
It will collapse. Eventually, there will be no enough healthcare professionals to take care of the 3.5 million U.S. citizens in Puerto Rico.
The question of the moment is whether Puerto Rico itself can stay in business. Some of the problems here have gone on for more than a decade, but this week came the latest twist as the government said it would default on a scheduled debt payment. Sergio Marxwatch of the Center for a New Economy, an independent Puerto Rican-based think tank, says Puerto Rico failed time and again to adjust to economic realities.
The two key problems are the economic slowdown and the debt crisis. The economy in Puerto Rico has been stagnant or contracting basically since 2006. That's when the tax break for U.S. companies doing business in Puerto Rico expired. Congress phased it out starting in 1996, over 10 years.
And companies left and jobs left?
Companies left, jobs left, and the government had to increase its debt basically to keep the economy going.
Today, that overall debt stands at an astounding $72 billion. And on Monday, the government said it would not pay a piece of it, a $422 million payment owed by its Government Development Bank.
When I haven't been able to solve one, then you have the other and the other and the other.
Puerto Rico's Governor Alejandro Garcia Padilla says he had to make a choice between paying off creditors and providing basic services.
I do not have the money. It's not that I do not want to pay it. I just don't have the money. It's mathematics. If today I have to pay the supplier of fuel to police cars, I will not pay the supplier of medicines to the medical center.
It's that you have to pick one or the other, you feel?
Every day.
The governor blames what he calls vulture hedge funds for blocking Puerto Rico's request to restructure its debt, and sees racial discrimination in ads now airing in the U.S.
Stop the Washington bailout of Puerto Rico.
Why they are using actors trying to represent that they are Puerto Ricans? Why they are saying that we are asking a bailout when that's not true? It's just because we are not a state. It's just because we are not a republic. It's just because we are Puerto Rican.
The governor wants help from Washington, and key figures from Treasury Secretary Jack Lew to House Speaker Paul Ryan are looking at possible solutions, including new legislation that would allow Puerto Rico to file for a kind of municipal bankruptcy, as Detroit did. For the moment, though, there's a political stalemate. If it lasts, Governor Garcia Padillo has warned a bailout by U.S. taxpayers is inevitable.
We are very optimistic that entrepreneurship is the way forward.
But for some, the picture here is much brighter, filled with opportunity. Piloto 151 is a small business aiming for a giant breakthrough. It's part tech incubator, part meetup place, offering office space and training to would-be entrepreneurs. Sophia Stolberg is its co-founder.
When there's a lot of economic pain, there's also a lot of economic opportunity. And we truly believe that entrepreneurship, and specifically high-growth entrepreneurship, is what's going to help us out of this fiscal crisis that we're currently in.
How does it do that?
Eventually we'll get to a critical mass where we will be able to have at least one big home run that will be able to change the economic landscape forever.
It's a lot to hope for, and maybe years away. The territory as a whole faces its next test when a huge debt payment of $2 billion comes due on July 1st. But Cora Jimenez is focused on daily struggles. She wants to remain in her homeland with her son and is trying to hold out faith.
I'm not like some other people that think the government is against us and the Department of Education is against us and trying to take away our services. I think people are trying. People at the government, they're trying. But whatever they're doing is not working. It's not fair. My son gets affected. Hundreds of kids get affected because decisions that somebody else is making. And I don't think for a second that they're doing it with a bad intention, but it's affecting the population.
Affecting this island of more than 3 million, one family at a time. From San Juan, Puerto Rico, I'm Jeffrey Brown for the PBS News Hour.
And in a second report next week, Jeff will look at how the mosquito-borne Zika virus threatens Puerto Rico and what the territory is doing to fight back.